Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm going to guide you through a yin yoga practice today that's going to focus on helping you to relax and relieve stress and anxiety. We have done a very similar practice before. It's been a long time. Now's the perfect time to just do it again. See how your body's feeling today. I added in some changes, but we're going to be stimulating the kidney meridians big time, which is just going to help us to release stored up tension and energy and just feel our lightest, most relaxed selves as we head into this holiday weekend. So you need the floor, you need some space for yourself. Make it as comfortable as possible. Gather any props that you need. Maybe you want to bring 2 blocks or some pillows or some blankets. We're going to start off today in Savasana. I'm going to give you the option to stay there for a little while through our practice, giving you some ideas just to find what really feels right for you today, because this is all about you. So thank yourself for making this time. Make your environment as pleasant as possible. For me, that means a little aromatherapy before I lay down. Bribe the bird with peanuts. Did you make a little mess there, Uncle Buck? You did. I'll clean that up first. Let me see your little butt. What's happening right this second? It's fine. Someone got sick just before class started. It wasn't me. Uncle Buck is really good about waiting until just before class starts. He knows that his mommy gets really paranoid about being on time for things. I'm not upset with you, Uncle Buck. I'm not upset with you, little buddy. I love you. Great. It's a great spot. Okay, we start in 1 minute. I don't know if you guys notice a difference at all. I'm trying to use headphones today to see if you can hear me a little bit better. I've heard from a member or two that the sound on Facebook is not as awesome as the sound on YouTube. So I'm just trying to make it work. All right, it's 4:30, so go ahead. If you're not already laying down in Savasana, make your way into your Savasana. We're gonna spend about 4 minutes here. If you need to grab another sip of water, coffee, tea, whatever's making you happy these days. Do it and then lay down. Feel free to be as supported in your Savasana as you need to. So if you already want to break out any props, maybe to put under your bent knees to be supported. And if you don't need any props, go ahead, extend those legs out and just start to come into your breath right here. Bring your focus to your long, slow, deep inhale. Take a moment with your lungs full at the top and just notice that big breath before you slowly exhale, as slowly as possible. Take a moment at the bottom with your lungs empty and continue just making each breath noticeable, intentional, something that you are aware of. And after you finish, bringing your focus and awareness to your long, slow breaths, keep them going Start that scan of your body from head to toe and just notice as you lay down if maybe there's a little shifting you can do to be a little bit more comfortable, to relax into the mat as much as you possibly can. Maybe getting down here, you start to tune into some tension in your lower back, and that it might feel better if you actually bent your knees, tented them together. Just work to keep that breath nice and slow, and stay focused here in the present of this moment right now. If you want to set, excuse me, if you would like to set an intention for your practice, now's a great time to do so. Just doing your best to be here right now. Anything else that maybe you need to still do for work or for yourself, for your pets, for your family, just adulting in general. That stuff is all still going to be here 40 minutes from now. So you made this time for yourself. Enjoy it as much as possible. Really be present. As outside thoughts do start to pop into your head, which is normal, do your best to just come back to right now. Maybe even counting your breath. Making sure that you're finding focus with your eyes, either in one spot or keeping them closed. We have one more minute right here. So our first active / passive posture of the day, beyond just starting with our Savasana, is going to be a bound angle. Similar to butterfly, but you want to have your legs a little bit further away. I'm going to give you 2 options. Actually, I'm going to give you 3 options for bound angle. So if you want, you can stay reclined here on your back, getting a really big stretch in your hips. If this stretch feels too tight, if it's uncomfortable, allowing those knees to hang heavy towards the floor, feel free to support them by placing a block underneath of your knees. However, if you're feeling pretty open in your hip flexors and you want to do a little bit more, I encourage you to sit up in this posture. Still keeping your legs somewhat in front of you. You might still find that you like using some blocks underneath of your knees to find a little bit of support, and you can stay upright if this is the appropriate stretch for you. Or if you need to come a little bit deeper, you can even fold forward here. Wherever you are, I want you to start that scan of your body once more from head to toe. Just find some relaxation. Especially in that upper body, we're focusing on the stretch that we're creating in our lower half. And depending on if you stayed on your back, you're gonna feel it a little bit differently than if you hinged forward. So wherever you're feeling it in that lower half, work to come to the edge of a stretch, something that is noticeable. You do wanna actively feel a stretch. It might even be a little uncomfortable. You just don't want it to be painful. So once again, find focus with your eyes in one spot, or even closing them. Any twitches or involuntary movements that happen are totally fine. One of my toes is twitching like crazy right now because I feel this stretch a lot pressure-wise in my ankle, which I'd recently hurt. That's okay, because I know that we are just creating some stimulation and some circulation. I'm aware of the stretch, and I'm going to use my exhale to just relax in it as much as possible. one more minute right here. Just keeping that stillness. Notice if you brought any tension to that upper body. Relax and release as much as you can. And make sure you're still enjoying those big, full belly breaths. That you don't come into any stretches today that are so big that you find your breath is limited. Last 2 slow breaths. If you folded forward, I want you to take your time and lift yourself up. And you get to kick your legs forward or fold them in. Let's actually fold them in. If you're down on your back, you can enjoy a spine twist on your back, or you can sit yourself up. We're going to spend 1 minute just twisting to each side. So if you're laying on your back, draw one knee up, open your arms out to the side, and fall over towards your extended leg. And if you're upright, just choose whichever side you'd like to twist to. And be very gentle in your twist. Just use that exhale to come into it. We don't need to go too deep. Just find something that you can hold. A little awareness on the side body. Take one more big inhale and use your exhale to return back to the center. Find some length through the crown of your head if you're sitting up. Another big inhale and exhale. Come to the opposite side. Remember, we're not going for a super deep stretch. Still pretty early in our practice. Just finding some awareness through the spine, just starting to wake things up. Good morning in the afternoon. Hello, body. Take the tension out of your mind, out of your shoulders, out of your chest. Just focus on your breath. Maybe even practicing some ujjayi breathing, a slight constriction of your throat, pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Go ahead, take one more big inhale. Find that length, and on your exhale, slowly, gently release. Great. If you're laying down on your back, now's your time to sit up and join us. We're gonna come into dragonfly next. So if your legs are folded, keep that left leg folded in and extend your right leg out. Awesome. All right, we're just creating a nice little stretch throughout the leg, and you can find what feels good for you here. Maybe you want to bring your hands in front of you, especially if you're having any lower back pain. Finding that forward hinge of your hips is going to feel good. If you want to even come a little bit deeper into the stretch, we're going to be here for about 3 minutes. We're already in it, so don't even worry. But remember, you're coming into a place where you can find stillness. So if you need to use some props, if you need to prop one arm up, wherever it is that you can relax here, finding a noticeable stretch. We're about halfway right now. So you're still working to find some relaxation even in this working leg. Unlike a gang yoga where I would tell you to flex those toes back towards your face to create an extra stretch throughout the back of the hamstrings, you can allow your toes to fall forward. maybe hanging out in the stretch, you just notice some tension that's building up somewhere else. I'm noticing a little tension in my lower back. You can help to relieve that by pulling in your belly just a little bit. However, if the stretch really does become painful, know that you can always ease out, come back into something that does feel good, and back into your stillness. We've got about 3 more breaths right here. Go ahead, use your next exhale to lift yourself up. We're going to bend our knees and place them in front of us. Bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing in towards your hips. Just press into your hands, palms. A little seated, supported back bend. You can stretch your chin up towards the ceiling. Feel free to take your time coming into this nice little counter stretch. Working to keep the shoulders away from your ears. Take one more big inhale. And on your exhale, slowly release out of this supported back bend, and let's go ahead and kick the opposite leg out. So find what feels good for you. Maybe just having those hands in front of you, maybe really coming down forward. Remember, both sides of the body aren't the same, so what felt really easily attainable on one side might feel a little bit more challenging on the other. So just honor what feels good for your body today. Feel free to use any props that you have around you. Come back into your nice, long, slow breaths. And just take in that notice of how your body's feeling today. As you start to sit in stillness in the stretch, start your scan of the body. It's very normal to come into a stretch and tense something else. You know where you store your tension. For me, I love to wear my shoulders as earrings. I hate real earrings, but my shoulders are beautiful. So reminding myself to relax those away from my ears. And then taking the tension out of my glutes. So much strength training in yoga where we are engaging those glutes, and here we just want to relax them, relax those toes. Just hanging out in our stretches a little bit longer helps us to get into our fascia, our tissues, the connective tissues, the joints, ligaments, even the bones. So just find that noticeable stretch and stay right here. Can you be so still that you don't even blink your eyes? So keeping your eyes closed during yin is a great way to just be a little bit more in the practice. So much easier to ignore the distractions in the room around you. Take one more big inhale and use your exhale to gently, once again, lift yourself up. We're going to bring both of our soles of the feet down to the floor, fingers pointing inward. Once more, find that lift up of your chest. Pressing those glutes into the floor, pressing into the back of your hands, palms. Chin away from chest. Take 2 more breaths here. And then exhale slowly, gently with intention release. Nice. Yay. We get to lay down on our backs. We're going to come into a shoulder stretch next. Just a quick little shoulder stretch. Most of the postures we're doing today are a delightful 3 minutes. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We're going to lay down on our bellies. Jessica. Okay. Laying down on your belly is you can choose which side you're going to roll to first. Make up your mind right now. Stretch your arms out to the side in a T. Keep your extended fingers in line with your shoulders. Whichever side you're going to roll to, that arm stays out and the opposite hand rolls in right underneath of your shoulder. Roll over onto the side body and you can control how much of a stretch that you're creating in the shoulder. You can keep your knees bent and together to take things a little easier on yourself, or clamshell open those legs, keep that bottom leg open even. Find some place, oh my gosh, to relax your head. You can do whatever you want to with this top arm if you want to get even deeper in towards your chest. Oh yeah, I love to bring the back of your fingers to your bum and then trace that up your back to help you feel a little supported and opening the top shoulder as well. Just gonna bring my timer a little closer. Cool. So shoulders are drawn away from the ears and shoulder blades are squeezing towards each other, especially if you have this backhand behind you. Just working to open and rotate that chest up towards the ceiling will help you feel the stretch a little bit more. So feel free to relax the belly here. Come back to that nice, relaxed breath. Can you even breathe so quietly that someone in the room with you wouldn't hear you? Not to be that guy to tell you to put a smile on your face, but see if you can lift up the two corners of your mouth. Take pride in the fact that you're here right now. Smile at your stretch, at the sensations that we're able to create within our body. If you're starting to feel any numbness in your fingers, it's normal. Don't you worry, we're going to just take 2 more breaths right here. If you extended this top hand behind you, I want you to inhale it up towards the ceiling. And exhale, bring it down to the floor to help support you as you untwist. Rolling over onto our bellies, we're just going to come right into the opposite side. Wow, that felt amazing. Go ahead, extend your other hand out. Bring your opposite hand palm of the side that you're rolling onto under your chest and gently roll over onto the side body. So many options. Remember, you can have those knees bent. If you want to feel it a little bit more, you can clamshell your legs. If you want a little bit more, you can even extend that bottom leg. Just find what works for you. You can keep your front or top hand palm on the floor to support you, or inhale it up towards the ceiling. Go ahead, bend the elbow, bring your fingertips to the top of your glute, and then trace up your back. Stretch that elbow behind you, really working to just open your chest, open that top shoulder away from the floor to the outer wall or even up towards the ceiling. Come back to your nice, slow, aware breath. Remember, we're focusing on the shoulder stretch right here. So take the tension out of your glute. Oh my gosh, this stretch is big. If you're feeling that stretch in your hips because you have your knees bent, that's normal, but can you relax your glutes? Can you relax your toes? Relax your eyes, relax your mind, relax your breath again, and just be right here, right now. We are halfway through.
Sometimes when you're really still and silent in your stretch, you can hear your heartbeat throughout your body. So I want you to be so quiet in your breath, so focused in the moment for these next 3 to 4 breaths, and just see if you can hear your heartbeat. If you bent your top arm, use your next inhale to stretch it up towards the ceiling. Wake up your back. Slowly relax and release it to the floor. Put some weight in it. Find some support as you gently roll back over onto your belly. Ooh, bring your opposite hand palm in. Go ahead, press yourself up. We're going to send our hips back towards our heels. We'll just take 1 minute here in child's pose. So allow that head to fall below your arms, below heart's level. If this is too much on your shoulders, remember you can always take a generous bend of your elbows or even reach your hands back towards your hips. All right, next up is puppy pose. Puppy pose, or melting heart. And this is going to be our longest posture of the day. Really opening up those shoulders, opening up the chest and the upper back. If you need to, you can always stay a little bit more in child's pose. I want to give you some options for this puppy pose to really open up your shoulders. So if your shoulders are already feeling open, but they're feeling sore and you need a little bit of a stretch, as you bring your chest a little closer towards the mat and work to stack your hips on top of your heels, and you can widen your base for a little bit more support as well. You're going to extend your hands in front of you and tent your fingers. Now, if the floor feels impossibly far away, you can always place a block underneath of your chest to find some support right here, which actually feels amazing, and keep both of your hands forward. But if that's... Sorry about that. All right, great. We're still going. Okay, so congratulations if you stayed in puppy pose that whole time and didn't let whatever weird thing was happening on my end distract you. Need be, if we were just talking about, if it was uncomfortable to have both hands forward, you're going to bring one hand forward. And then you can go ahead and even rest your head on top of your, what's it called? Forearm. Just going to pull my pants up to my chin for some modesty. Awesome. So we'll have one hand at a time as an option out. And then I still want you to tent your fingers instead of a flat hand palm on the floor to get a little more into the shoulders. You can always walk your knees back or enjoy a little bit more of that child's pose stretch as opposed to the big stretch of sinking your chest towards the floor. So think about just like relaxing your glutes still, relaxing your toes and the top of the feet on the floor. Maybe you feel some real warmth being created in that extended hand, shoulder. Just keep breathing through it. think about really relaxing your shins on the floor. I'm sorry guys, this is so weird. Okay, now we're gonna extend the other hand forward. So go ahead, bring your opposite arm in and cup the palm of your hand and press your fingers to the floor and think about if you don't feel any stretch in that chest at all, sinking your chest a little closer towards the floor. My headphones, just so everyone knows, my phone is so weird. Gonna distract you from the stretch with a little story that anytime I get into the car, it will just start trying to play music. However, it only plays one song unless I'm within my Wi-Fi network, and the only song it usually plays is Kelly Clarkson, "What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger." And I want to hate that song, but like honestly, at this point I have to love it, because then that song will end and my phone will cycle through anything else I've ever downloaded on iTunes and come right on back to Kelly Clarkson. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I just like to think that maybe there's a musical guardian angel out there looking out for me who just thinks that sometimes I need to hear a particular song. Apparently in the middle of this yoga class, we all really needed to hear just a teeny little bit of Real Estate. They are a great band. Okay, take one more deep inhale. And then on your exhale, let's sink our hips back towards the heels all the way. This time, extend your hands and press into those palms. And release your head down to the floor. Back to a traditional child's pose. I tried something new. It didn't quite work. It's a Christmas miracle. I'm so not surprised. Okay, next up, we're just gonna lift ourselves up. We're gonna come back into a seated position, and we have got square pose or fire logs. Okay, so this one is a big stretch for those of you with some tight hip flexors. We're working to get both of our shins in line with the top of the mat or the rug or whatever, wherever you're hanging out. If you can bring it in even closer and stack one on top of the other, do it. But if you can bring it in closer, I'm going to encourage you to wiggle your feet out so that you're not pressing the ankle bone into the other leg and applying a lot of pressure. Now, a lot of people are going to have trouble getting this top knee all the way down, and that's cool because you can use a block and find some support, because I want you to relax here as much as possible. So if you tried to come into this one and your knee is all the way up towards the ceiling, see if you can bring things a little bit further in front of you. It's okay if your shins aren't in two straight lines. You're doing your best. You're doing the best you can with the body you have today. Every day is different. Every body is different. Each side is different. So just appreciate what you got. You're working to feel a stretch. It should not feel super painful. So if it does feel super painful, maybe you even bring your hands behind you to feel a little supported. And if you don't feel any sort of a stretch at all, you get to walk your hands forward. Great. Great, 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 great. So you can just let your toes kind of do whatever you want, but if you are working to feel a little bit more of a stretch through that lower body, you can also flex your toes in towards each other. We'll take one more minute right here. last 2 breaths. All right, we're going to take a big counter pose to that stretch. So, coming up next is reverse tabletop. So kick those legs out in front of you. I like to do my reverse tabletop with my hands either facing towards me or out to the side. Some people like to have their hands behind them. So just find what feels good for you. Go ahead, press into your heels, lift your hips up. You can do whatever feels good with your head. Really work this time. We're actually being a little active in this stretch to squeeze those glutes and lift that hip up. Both hips, actually. Lift both of those hips up. Really press into those hands' palms. Go ahead, take one more big inhale. And slowly lower yourself down on your exhale. And we're going to come into the opposite side of square pose. So hopefully you remember which leg you had to the front. If not, it's okay. If not, honestly, think about what you would naturally do and then go for what feels a little bit less natural. So once again, just working to get those shins in line with each other, and you can have them in front. You can have one in front of the other, or you can work to actually stack your legs like fire logs. Make sure again that you have a little space for your feet on the side, and if you need to use any sort of a prop to just make this feel a little bit better, go for it. You can stay here, you can have your hands behind you, and if you want an even deeper stretch, you're going to find that forward hinge. Do that total body scan and just notice right now if you came into a stretch that brought any additional tension into your upper body, and just work to use your exhale to relax that additional stress, be it mental or physical. Focus back in on your breath. All right, take one more big inhale, and on your exhale, gently lift yourself up, and we're gonna slowly lay down on our backs. And as soon as you get to your back, I want you to draw your knees in towards your chest and your feet in towards each other, so that we're doing basically like a bound angle on our backs. And if you need to, hold on to your knees or the back of your legs for some support right here. You totally can. We're going to spend about 1 minute here just working to open up those knees a little wide, but with the toes in towards each other. Awesome. And then we're going to come into happy baby. So working to keep this deep bend of the knees and then sending the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. So maybe you can even reach up and grab hold of your feet. Maybe things are feeling really tight and you can't reach your feet and you just want to go for a little bit of legs up towards the ceiling. Maybe you want to have your fingers behind your kneecaps, or sometimes I just like to hold onto my pants. One thing I've learned through especially Bikram yoga is that wearing long pants in yoga can make postures easier. Surprise! There you go. There's your little gift for the holiday season. It's a yoga tip. Wearing long pants is helpful. It's helpful because it makes it easier for postures like eagle or, well, mostly eagle, or honestly, cow face, to slide one leg over the other, and right here for a posture to grab hold and bring those knees in towards your chest without finding the extra stress of lifting your upper body to come towards your legs. Awesome. Coming close towards the end now. So I want you to bring those heels back together, bring the soles of the feet down towards the floor, and roll over onto one of your sides. We're going to go for cat tail, which we've done before. So you can use your bottom arm and we'll stay supported here. I'm going to actually lift my head up though, because I don't want to touch my headphones to my ears again. Awesome. But you're using your head like a pillow to keep your spine aligned. You're going to inhale that upper arm up. With your knees bent, you're reaching back, and you're going to grab hold of your top leg. And really start to pull that knee down towards the end of the mat to find a big stretch in your quad. And if you're game for it, you're going to kick that lower leg out. So just find a nice total body stretch. Stay here on my side and really work to find the stretch in the upper leg quad. Wow, that feels amazing. Take one more big inhale. And on your exhale, draw that lower leg in. Slowly, gently release your upper leg. We're going to roll over onto the opposite side. Yay! And use your bottom arm to support your head, starting with those knees bent. Inhale that top arm up towards the ceiling, and exhale behind you. Grab hold of your upper leg. So we're coming into just a big stretch on the front of your thigh. You're going to go ahead and kick that lower leg out and forward, but keep stretching through that bottom knee. Can you even take your shoulder, and just like we did in that big shoulder stretch, you open it up towards the ceiling, get your back engaged and involved in this a little bit. We warmed that back up, finishing with a big, slightly active, total body stretch right here. Let me know if you guys love this cattail. I'm a big fan. We can make it even more passive in the future though. I found it much easier on this side. I'm sure if you were watching, you noticed that my balance struggles just a teeny bit on the opposite side. All right, so go ahead, draw that extended leg that's out, back in. Gently release your top leg. Slowly roll over onto your back. Kick those legs out in front of you. Extend your arms out. And we've made it to final Savasana. So honestly, you can do whatever you want with your arms and your legs. You can bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. If you need to take a second and adjust your costume or fix whatever, or grab a quick sip of water before you lay down in your final Savasana. We've got 3 more minutes together, and we're gonna milk them to the very end, y'all. So please give this Savasana the same respect and attention and stillness that you brought to all of the other postures in class today. I was just taking a moment to reflect on our class as we're supposed to, and it made me giggle to think about the weird things my headphones did. So I hope that it made you giggle too, you know? Laughter is amazing. Also, it's a nice little abdominal workout, so got a little ab work in for free. You're welcome. So take this time to allow your practice to just flow through your total body. Once again, see if you can work to a stillness and a quietness within your breath that you can feel or even hear your heartbeat. Well, the great news is you made it to your mat. And the sad news is that's all the time that we have together for today. But as always, I encourage you to stay in this Savasana as long as you can. So let's even finish right here, laying down on the floor in Savasana. If you want to, you can bring your hands to heart center to really just take a moment to know how much I appreciate you, that I really hope that you appreciate yourself. Thank yourself for making this time in your day, for filling your personal cup so that you can continue to share your amazing energy with others. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that we did today, you are encouraged to reach out. In the meantime, I hope that you will continue to think good thoughts and speak good words, to eat good foods and do good deeds to nourish yourself from the inside out. Go ahead, bring your thumb to your drishti, your third eye, stretch those elbows up towards the ceiling and know that the light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.